Hello, everybody. We're live with your mother.
Hello, welcome to the Geeky Puppet Show.
Yeah.
It's me, your host, Puppeting, and I've been invaded.
Is
I don't
everybody,
know why.
is anybody seeing Mr. Sheffield?
I'm sorry, I did not watch The Nanny. I thought this was a Secret Invasion stream.
It was a nanny.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geeky Puppet Show, where we're reviewing Secret Invasion. It's season 1, probably the only season. Episode 2. And it's not a comment on the episode or anything. It's probably a miniseries. But let's go ahead and get into it. Episode 2 takes off pretty much where we left off with a little recap. See, the first episode didn't have a recap. So everybody is pretty much thrown for a loop. They aren't aware of the scroll situation. All they know is Samuel L. Jackson has a TV show, which sounds kind of weird. So they check it out, and then
they realize there's no snakes on a plane.
There's just some motherfucking scrolls on my motherfucking planet.
Actually, not really. It's there's scrolls on the train.
That's true.
And a van.
And a meat locker.
Yeah, that too.
And the van down by the river.
So basically, yeah, it gives us a little recap. 1995, Captain Marvel. You saw what the Skrulls, their situation was. So we jump 2 years, and they have a few more Skrulls on Earth, and Nick Fury is working hand in hand with Talos to pretty much say, "Hey, listen."
Well, they're not hand in hand. They're not like, "Hey."
They aren't. No, they aren't holding hands. They're like, "Put your hand in the."
Well, I will say that if he's posing as the hot blonde that's on the train, that's okay.
So, Froggy is learning that, maybe he's on the spectrum. Maybe Pride Month is his month.
He came in right at the end.
And that's how Zach was born.
Anyway, so after we learn that pretty much Nick Fury promised Skrulls, we see the promise this time. We see it happening. He says, "We're going to help you find a home, but while we do that, we're going to ask some help from you, because guess what? Shape-shifting's it's kind of neat. There's lots of uses for that. So they want to kind of, hey, you help out here, we'll help find you a home." But in the years since then, they haven't found him a home yet. But we go to present day. Present day, Maria Hill's dead. Sorry. And we see Fury get pulled into a van, and then some other I'm an American guy get pulled into a van, and they take off. That's when we get the AI art intro. Ooh, we don't like it. It's okay. But from there's things to address. I mean, Maria Hill is dead.
Very sad.
It is very sad. And they have to address they don't address the funeral yet, though, right? Because they have to go on the train ride first.
I think they do.
So the train is the very beginning.
Yeah, the train ride's at the beginning. Yeah.
At the end
And
of the train,
I really like it. I really like the scene because Nick Fury is saying, I used to ride the train with my mother when I was a boy, eating fried chicken in a shoebox. He says that. I swear to God.
He does.
Don't cancel this puppet.
Arguably, well, no, because if you look chronologically, like when he was a boy, that was a thing that happened. He talks about riding in the colored car.
The colored car, yeah.
Yeah, that was stuff that actually happened. I actually, as that scene was
going on. You loved Zach.
God, I'm not even gonna.
I remember very, very fondly, Zach.
I was
just a little type. Yeah, a little.
Anyway. No, that reminds me of that scene where he's in, I think it's Winter Soldier. He's talking about how his grandpa would walk home from work and he had like the paper bag or whatever with the gun inside. I think.
Yeah.
It was very. It was a good scene. I liked it.
Yeah, no, and it all makes sense. And he's talking to Ben Mendelsohn, Talos, and saying, let's play this game that I used to play with my mother. She would ask me, tell me what I don't know about you and Susie. And he didn't want to say that he was playing doctor with Susie, so he said they saw Toad with polka dots, and he wants to play this game.
Well,
so tell me something I don't know about.
Hold on. He said the real important thing is that, of course, and then my mother knew that I was lying. So no matter what I said next, from that point on, she could tell when I lie because you say stupid stuff like that. He plays the whole game with them, in the car. He's like, tell me something I don't know about Skrulls, and of course this leads to Fury finding out that all the Skrulls are here. And of course he's offended. That wasn't the plan. He's like, you left. You didn't give two shits. And so Fury throws a little bitch fit, kicks him, says, you know what? I don't want you in this compartment anymore.
Yeah,
so Talos turns back into the hot blonde and leaves.
But here's the thing. Fury is saying, listen, the Earth, humans can barely stand each other. You think they're going to accept aliens and coexist? There is not enough space or tolerance to do that.
But
There's
Fury's
not enough
wrong,
space and tolerance in this
Excuse me. Fury's wrong. I've seen the bumpers. Coexist.
Shut up.
Oh, shut up.
But here's he pretty much tells us to get off. And
I did many times.
Jesus, Froggy.
Good Lord. Oh, man. Yeah.
Hola to you too, Chico. Eric Breen.
Hi, Poppy.
What the fuck?
What is happening?
It's Pride Month. Them frogs are gay.
What is going on? Why are you speaking in Spanish, though?
So from there, we do get Maria Hill does get buried in American soil because, Rhodey was able to get it to work out. And
he pulls in he pulls political favors, or yeah.
And he has to have another court case like he did in Iron Man 2.
I know. Yeah, it's like, hey, this is the guy who has to sit in the legal meetings.
Yeah, and he's telling the group, hey, listen, no, the Americans are not behind this. We are investigating. You're investigating, and until you have such evidence, we don't have any right to pay towards anything, to give homage to anything. None of that. This wasn't an attack. This wasn't blah, blah, blah. But the scene that really matters is after, when Fury gets into contact with him. Mm-hmm. Which, actually, that took place in the UN, which was a bit after the funeral. Because Skrulls have stuff going on, too.
It's true.
Yes.
The Skrull stuff was actually, I think it was a little bit more interesting even than a lot of the Fury stuff this week.
Yeah, and it sets up as far as who Gravik is. We don't know who he is in the very first episode. Now we know the whole thing is that when Fury originally, when he was younger, back in 1997, Fury said he had him and Talos basically said, I'm basically going to the Skrulls here. I'm going to set up an information. If you help me keep the peace here on Earth, I will spend all my time basically trying to find you a new planet to basically to live on. Mm-hmm. Of course, because Nick Fury ends up blipping and the fall of the Avengers and all that stuff, he just basically decides to go in space. But back in the flashback, we get to see Gravik as a little kid. Yeah. The whole reason the Skrulls left because the war with the Kree, they were losing. So 100,000 of them or whatever.
There's a million of them.
Yeah. Decided to flee. They were scattered, and Gravik lost his parents. So right then and there, Gravik should have been put down because he was already disgruntled. And of course, Gravik
should have been put down.
Kill the children.
Anyway, Gravik.
Maybe they shouldn't have used a vulnerable child for government work.
He was already messed up, man. He was gonna end up being a villain regardless.
Exactly.
He
Look,
did give off those
basically
future villain vibes.
he became the Skrull Hitler at that point.
Riddler.
Because he wants to basically to get rid of all the humans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that-
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that comparison.
His
And now,
whole
and
point-
this
his whole
whole episode was him basically building up an army. He's got an army.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh
you're
my
right.
gosh.
I totally forgot about one scene, but yeah, no, you're totally right. It does make him.
Yeah, because now he basically threw a coup over the console. Now he's control the Skrulls, and he looks at humans being nothing like insects. Kind of
Well,
like
the console. It was like a meeting, like a group meeting.
he's kind of like Eric Lesnar. The same thing, Magneto Brotherhood. He does not,
Lyncher. It's Eric Lyncher.
Sorry, whatever.
No, you're totally right though. There was that, because they do that whole like Skrull Senate scene, like the council that he's not.
We
invited
learn
to.
how far they've invaded, though. That's like the real.
Well,
That's the prime minister in UK is a Skrull.
It's kind of like it reminds me of Winter Soldier when you find out like all these people who are Hydra.
Hydra, yes.
Yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of that, but even on
You think
a
the
higher
Skrulls didn't
scale.
learn from Hydra?
And all but one pretty much agree that Gravik should be their war general.
War general
To lead them in these times of war. Democracy doesn't work when in war.
Well, actually, one of them actually chickened out. Because
one chickened out and he let her walk away.
But it wasn't chickening out; it was standing for principles.
No! You're confusing. There's two people. There's two Skrulls.
Who was the other one?
He was prime minister of NATO.
Oh,
he was a NATO guy.
Yeah.
They basically said, like, we don't care, and they throat checked him. Yeah, and then decided to fall in line. Yeah. Where she stood on principles, and she's apparently going to set up a parlay between.
Oh, parliament! Scroll
on. Yeah,
Scrolliosis.
So, but actually, this leads perfectly.
Scrollos was their planet.
Scrollos, yes.
Scrollos was the planet, yeah.
But it leads perfectly into that scene that we said that comes after with Rhodey, and you know that Skrulls are sitting there. The director of NATO just sitting there. Oh yeah, that's good.
We also don't know if Rhodey's a Skrull.
That's true. I'm not entirely.
The way he acted in the diner scene afterwards, talking to Fury. Yes. I personally thought here.
Well, here's the thing. Fury pretty much says, "Hey, I want to meet ASAP to Rhodey. They're in a restaurant. They have a bit of whiskey, and pretty much Fury is saying, "Hey, I need some help here." And Rhodey says, "No, I don't think you do. You're fired." He has his Donald Trump moment. I know Don Cheadle loves hearing that.
It's gonna be you.
Yeah, no. He says, and they do talk about, and that's what Miranya's talking about at first.
Yeah,
there are scenes in here because they do talk about, well, us getting into these positions. We fought our way for this, and it was very important. And it actually works well with Don Cheadle too, because Miranya keeps calling him old as dirt. So
but that's why I don't like Cheetos. John Cheeto. No, so there was one scene you considered to be woke, if you really wanted to, I guess, or it was a scene between Rhodey and when he was talking to Fury, and Fury's like, we had the same hardships. You think you got there because of blood? That's the only reason you're at the seat and stuff. Help a brother out. I was just like, this is turning into the Jeffersons.
But yeah, no, Rhodey says, no, you can't use that. You can't say help a brother out. We fought their way here with blood, getting this blood, sweat, and tears to get into these positions, so we can look across the table at a man who also fought their way there to tell them, you're fired. And that's pretty much it. And Fury is going to be taken by the security guard to the airport, and Fury says, fuck that, and breaks his hand, takes the gun, but doesn't use it. He takes out the
bullet out of the chamber, and it also So he basically So Fury ends after this. We see
when I'm out, I'm in.
we see Gia or Gaia basically, and she's on the computer looking up stuff. We mentioned the Groot.
That was cool. Yeah, she goes on the computer and she's like, at this point, she's not the scroll queen yet. She's kind of, I think there's going to be like a big like act 2 or act 3 thing. But she's on the computer and you find that the scrolls are researching all these different aliens and stuff. Because like they've been looking into Groot, they've been looking into the extremists, the extremist virus, Asgardian frost monsters, all these different Marvel monsters.
Yeah.
So some people are theorizing that they're going to be like taking genetics from these different characters.
Because the one guy who's being tortured, that's the one getting tortured. Says, he says they're making it to make it stronger. And I was like, oh, you freaking Super Skrull.
Super Skrulls, baby. Because there's more than one kind of Super Skrull. There's the big one that has all the Fantastic Four powers. Everybody knows that one. But then there's other ones too. Like they have ones that have all the X-Men powers, different Avengers powers. There's all kinds of different Super Skrulls. So anyway.
War Machine, Hustle and Flow.
But that was a cool scene. But then what they do, so when Nick Fury gets grabbed in the van at the very beginning and the aftermath of the attack, the guy who's like, I'm American, and like the tropical shirt, he gets put in the van too. And we find out that he's being held by these Russians. And so Olivia Colman, I think is the actress's name, the British
brilliant, love her,
spy woman. Yeah, I thought she was okay in the last episode. This one I felt was a lot better. She gets intel. She finds out about this American guy who's really a Skrull. And so she goes in there and she like pulls rank on these Russian mobsters that are torturing them, trying to get information. She has them all leave the room and she knows that something's wrong with them. She goes and like cuts off the guy's finger and watches it turn green. It was really, really cool. Just like the whole like interrogation and torture of what she does to the guy. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I thought her acting in that was one of the highlights of the episode.
Yeah, and it leads to another scroll scene where they get in, they take out the Russians that are there, and they grab him, pull him into the car, and Gravik says, hey, what'd you tell him? Mm-hmm. Nothing. All lies. Oh, all lies? Okay. They get in the car. They go out to the woods. They come out. Are we home yet? Almost.
Bro.
Hold on. Rhaegar, there's someone who wants to say hello to you. How's it going, little Rhaegar?
Oh, God.
Get out of here, Reed. This is our show. Fine.
He's just jealous because there's no Super Skrulls based off of the Fantastic Four.
The first Super Skrull was based off the Fantastic Four. What are you talking about?
In the show, Zachary.
We don't know if that will be in the show or not. He could be. We don't know.
This hamburger. It's showing the Skrull.
But I thought that scene, that one that you were leading up to, where like they take the guy who's like, oh, lies, I didn't tell him anything. They take him, and the way they shot it, I thought was really like, because you can just barely make it out through the window. They show like Gaia and Gavik in the car, and then in the window you can see like the silhouette of the two of them walking off, and it's like really foggy, and you can just like barely see like the guy shoot them.
That wasn't foggy. That wasn't fog. You know that was actually the Canadian smoke of the Canadian forest fires.
It was in Russia.
Yeah, it travels pretty far east.
Anyway, I thought that the scene was shot really well.
It is. I think the show is shot really well. It is kind of leading up to Armor Wars, and I have to say, yes, Extremis was mentioned.
The Extremis.
I have to say, Maranya, I don't think he's a Skrull. So Cheeto's very weird about it. In that scene, he's like, I learned about it years ago in this top secret
eyes only alien, like Area 51 type thing. Yeah.
I can't wait till they bring back Iron Man and Captain America.
So on the one hand, when they show him in like that hearing where he's like testifying in front of the ambassadors or whatever, and that scene, that felt very much like Rhodey. Because even when like one of the ambassadors was like rolling her eyes, he was like, "If Slovakia rolls her eye at me one more time, I'm gonna carpet bomb him." Like that scene felt very Rhodey. But then when they show him and Nick Fury in the restaurant, I agree, it didn't really seem quite as much like Rhodey.
I just want to say here at the Kiki Papa Shop, we don't condone the word of carpet bombing. That is very, very triggering.
Yes, but they do. So
They say it twice, so because Nick Fury brings it.
and
So there's Aladdin.
basically, so maybe Rhodey is taken
Yeah,
between.
he
the
is.
scenes.
I think it would be interesting if it turns out he has been a Skrull this whole time. I think that would actually be interesting because it's not like the comics where you find out that Elektra has been a Skrull this whole time, or Hank Pym, or whoever. Like, they don't have very many like long-running Avengers characters. Like, if they had shown Maria Hill had been a Skrull this whole time, that could have been interesting. If they show like a big name or a big Avenger has been a Skrull this whole time, I think that could be interesting. But
Yeah, no, I agree.
Rhodey is the only one that they could really do that with.
It sucks because if you would have had Tony Stark or even had Chris Evans back,
Yeah,
and then
I'm still crossing my fingers and hoping that Quake from Agents of Shield or Coulson, somebody from that show, shows up.
Yeah,
I hope Frank Grillo shows up.
I don't think Coulson can't be a Skrull. He had his arm cut off. That would have turned green.
well, Coulson is not really alive,
And also, Maria Hill's kind
like
of
he
dead.
died again
Maria's
did he
dead.
really?
in the show. Yeah, he.
Uh,
So, yeah, season 6 is the biggest mess of a.
that's the one where they go in the future.
Yes.
Goes to space.
So,
Yeah.
so rumor has it they're gonna have Riri Williams show up and then turn out that she's a Skrull.
No, 5 is when they go into space.
Oh,
5
6 is when they go
5
in the
is
past.
perfect because it leads up perfectly to Infinity War, which came out the same night. So they were going beautifully together. And then because Marvel Television and the MCU basically weren't on speaking terms, they skipped to a world where, Thanos never snapped. It's all good.
Palpatine, you keep losing your accent there and going straight into human voice.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've always sounded like this. But that's pretty much.
Now you're back to normal.
Anyway, that was just my random
is one
thought.
last major thing with Nick Fury that we need to discuss.
Big major thing.
He likes vegetables,
That's right. That's right.
green ones.
Oh, he's also married. Yeah, we get to see him. We see this random cut to this green hand cutting vegetables, and then suddenly we're outside of the house, and Fury walks in, and he goes into the kitchen. The green hand is now black. Zach, look away.
Some people were theorizing that his wife, that maybe he doesn't know she's a Skrull, but then again, I thought about she probably is a defensive mechanism, reverts to looking a human because they don't know who's entering the house.
So it could be either way, but it's definitely his wife because he walks into the kitchen and she says, "Forgetting something," and
he says, "Well,
he walks back, puts on a wedding ring."
So when he walks in there, he says, "Yo, woman, where my sandwich at?"
No.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that idea. Like, if she's a Skrull and Fury doesn't know she's a Skrull because she changes to look like a human
Fury
after he
doesn't.
walks in the
Here's
house.
the thing.
I think he does though. That's what I originally thought. It's like
that's why he's so like the cost does matter to him.
Yeah.
This space thing was really recent, so I really don't understand, and they really have to explain this. What happened in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
1995 was a while ago. I mean, like Pixel was born 3 years after that.
Yeah, so I want to point out though, it actually wasn't 95, it was 97.
97 is the second scene.
Yeah,
when they make the promise.
The second scene,
but my question is, he had the PTSD, like 2 years ago in MCU time?
We
flipped.
We don't know
when he went up to the spaceship. Yeah, when he went up to the space station.
Was the space? Apparently, he must have. Blinked resistance, came back, and then went back to space.
He didn't go back to Earth. He stayed up in space.
So does he have PTSD because he blinked out existence, or does he have PTSD because something happened in between before the
I think it's because he got dusted because they referenced that in the last episode.
Is about.
Yeah, they reference that in the last episode. They show him thinking, going back to that scene where he gets dusted. He goes, "Mother." Anyway,
Yeah.
I really don't understand why you have PTSD. You're back alive again.
it's a traumatic. They did it with Iron Man. Nobody complained
No.
about it with him.
Well, then he had PTSD because not because of he didn't get dusted.
No, but he confronted his mortality. I mean, that's what Nick.
Like, yeah, and how did he do it? By creating Ultron.
No, he created Ultron in the next movie.
And the PTSD.
Yeah, and which was a bad thing to do, by the way.
So, and Carol Danvers, she got lost in space, I guess.
Yeah, see, Carol, like, so from the 95 to 97 jump, they say, we've been looking, we haven't found anything for you yet, but we're going to keep looking, and a part of that is we're hoping that you will help protect our world, help us in this way and that way. But I think, yeah, no, we're not talking about Iron Man. We're talking about Nick Fury, Maranya. Nick Fury's PTSD. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Maranya. I wonder if the scroll is what's his name? Talos' wife and Fury's doing the guy dirty. That would be a turn.
I doubt that. I doubt that. It seems like Fury and Talos.
This is not Pornhub. This is not Naughty America. Sites I do not know. Zach only told me about him.
Oh god. Anyway,
AsianScrolls.com.
Oh god. Anyway, it's a good episode. It's a solid episode.
Yeah.
I think it's
not as much action, but I appreciated it. I appreciated it a lot. It's definitely my review from last week's episode still holds through. It's definitely more entertaining than a lot of.
For me, it wasn't really triggering. It was basically meh.
It was. I liked it. I might have liked it a little bit better than last week's.
Last week's had an awesome opening chase scene.
Yeah,
that's what makes it better than this one.
I don't know. I appreciate the slow burn because it'll make the payoff.
Not when there's 6 episodes.
Yeah, sometimes you need a slow burn in 6 episodes.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
For 8, maybe, but not for 6. Because then you end up rushing in all in one episode.
Well, yeah, you gotta do rushing because it's.
No, I'm saying if you take your time to slow burn here, and then you start to go rushing in and having all one action, all in one episode, and just try to cram it all in one, you end up just ruining the story. But I don't know. This is basically leading up to the Marvels. We're gonna see Fury on the space station.
Yeah, Fury's gonna go back.
Yeah, we do know that. Unless this is somehow all out of whack and Fury comes back down to Earth. What if it's shot out of sequence and the Marvels is what brings Fury back down to? No, that doesn't make sense. Never mind.
What if this isn't really Fury? This one's their time to scroll.
We'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much for watching. We've had a good time reviewing, and we hope you've had a good time listening. Make sure to keep your ears open. We'll be back next week for Secret Invasion. And hopefully it's a little... I mean, I said it's good. Hopefully it's even better. Hopefully Froggy has something to cheer.
I will. The credits. Yay!
Oh, God. Thank you. Goodbye.
And remember to check out us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central.
Well,
or
check out those
or 8:30 if you're me.
30 humans.